First, I recognize we live in a momentous time, and for those of you watching, we seem to have a mechanical flaw. First, I recognize we live in a momentous time. First, I recognize we seem to have a mechanical flaw. First, I recognize we live in a momentous time. First, I recognize we seem to have a mechanical flaw.
So, grace, peace, and power. And I expect miracles will happen here tonight. Maybe not any of the miracles we came in expecting, but this place will not be the same because you were here. Let the people say, Amen. People say, Amen. People say, Amen.
And if there's one message to say to Congress, there's one reason to impeach. It's because they are destroying the Bill of Rights of the United States of America.
So we, the United States, are still doing torture. And this must stop, and it's one of the reasons that we must impeach George Bush and must impeach Vice President Cheney.
These people do not tell the truth, and you can see by what Cheney and Bush both say, it's chapter and verse, it's very easily demonstrable that they do not tell the truth. Witness the fact that Vice President Cheney on May 30th, 2005 said that he thought that the insurgency in Iraq was in its last throes. Right. How many people, how many young men and women from our armed forces have been killed since then? 1,800 folks. More than half of the ones that have been killed.
First, I recognize.
The worst of it all is that they are able to get away with this snake stuff because we don't stand up. You could not do this mess. You couldn't do this stuff if we had courage. You couldn't do this mess if we really believed in God. Because if you believed in God, you'd go make certain that this damn shit would stop in the morning. The question of impeachment would be good, because I got some other adjectives to use, and some other words. When it says impeachment, and that's what's on the table, the people that in my neighborhood and where my councilwoman deal with, we talking about lights and gas and water. And when we come to people and say, do you want to impeach the president, they say, is that all? Impeach, condoning deliberate torture of prisoners. I was so proud to be a board member of the Center for Constitutional Rights and to watch the brilliant work of the great Goodman and a team of attorneys stand up for the constitutional rights of everybody to the Senate court. We say impeach because U.S. soldiers, I'm a mother of a veteran, so I don't want anybody talking to me about our patriotism. One of my sons who served in the military. How dare this country send our young people into harm's way? We don't even take care of them when they get back home. It's a disgrace.
But more than impeachment, I'll tell you what all our goals should be. To educate the public, to educate the mothers in Troy, the people in Southfield, the people in Holly, the 62 million people who voted for him, about the nature of this administration. In Israel, they have a slogan, which I don't write a quote, but the slogan is, again, far more important than removing the shrub and, snarly from office, as desirable as that is that the American public realize what has been done to them, realize what they have lost and what they are in danger of losing. And unless you folks find a way to talk to people who don't feel like you, talk to people who you may find extremely complacent and irritating, not only are you not going to get anywhere, we're in dire peril of having somebody who looks like me but really thinks a whole hell of a lot worse next time. Thank you very much.
We're all here for the same reason and wish to unite to work towards the same goal. But where do we start? What can we do as individuals? How can each of us give this process momentum? And maybe Maureen Taylor, you're going to leave shortly. Maybe you can help us out on that one.
Yes, I can.
To begin with.
This I believe. Everybody in this room has a responsibility of making certain that this country is saved, or else we gonna burn it down.
That's right.
Okay, and that's just all it is.
Go ahead.
It's not gonna take any more abuse. It's not gonna go on. You should join something or somebody.
That's right, team.
You can't write an amicus brief. You're not gonna be able to get an article in the free press, in the news, in the different media outlets. But what you can do is to deal with your block club. What you can do, like my sister JoAnn says, your family members, you need to take this impeachment thought and concept everywhere.
That's right.
This Green Party, a lot of people act like you don't know about it. There's some bad folk.
That's right.
Some bad folk that go around and all over the state.
That's right.
And that's what we have to do. We can't be scared anymore.
That's right.
I'm gonna leave you with this because I gotta get on this radio broadcast. But keep in mind, in your lifetime, you saw on your television set poor black people being put on a bus.
That's right.
The mother went left, the father went right, the grandparents went someplace else.
Bravo.
Nobody had a cell phone, and they were holding up 2-year-olds to say, whose baby is this?
That's right.
That happened in your lifetime. I'm not talking about roots.
That's right.
I'm talking about what happened in your lifetime.
Tell
We
her.
got 220,000 people scattered around this country that don't have a way of coming back together again. And you didn't say nothing about it. Talk about impeachment. We should have went to Washington and kicked his ass.
First I recognize. 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 Living in the meanest time. First I recognize. We seem to have a mechanical flaw. First I recognize. First I recognize. First I recognize. First I recognize. Living in momentous time. First I recognize. First I recognize. We seem to have a mechanical flaw. Mechanical flaw. First I recognize. First I recognize. Mechanical flaw. First I recognize. First I recognize. Living a momentous time. First I recognize. First I recognize. Mechanical flaw. First I recognize. First I recognize. First I recognize. First I recognize. Mechanical flaw. Mechanical flaw. Mechanical flaw. We seem to have a mechanical flaw. We seem to have a mechanical flaw. First I recognize. First I recognize. First I recognize. First I recognize.